The Ravens just got some great news. Keaton Mitchell is ready to get back to being the kind of player who can flip a game in seconds. After bursting onto the scene as a rookie in 2023, suffering a tough injury, and then having a quiet comeback in 2024, he lit up this year's preseason with the same speed, confidence, and explosiveness that made everyone believe in him from the start. And here's the best part. Mitchell isn't just another running back in the rotation. He's the piece that can take this offense to another level, fitting perfectly next to Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. The catch? He didn't even suit up for Week 1. But if the Ravens decide to unleash him, the impact could be immediate. And that's why this news is such a big deal for the team's future. It's always strange when you know a player has everything to help the team, but he doesn't even step on the field. That's exactly what happened with Keaton Mitchell in the Ravens' opener against the Bills. After a strong training camp and flashing that burst in preseason, most people expected him to be part of the offensive plan. Instead, to everyone's surprise, Mitchell was left out, not because of an injury, not because he wasn't ready, but as a healthy scratch. That decision raised eyebrows because Baltimore's offense is already dangerous, but can always use more speed. And that's exactly what Mitchell brings. He's not just fast. He changes the way the game feels. He's the type of player who can take a routine run and suddenly turn it into a highlight. Leaving that kind of weapon on the sideline feels like a waste, especially against a physical defense like Buffalo's, which could have been forced to adjust. And the thing is, Mitchell's absence doesn't go unnoticed because he's already proven he can be a difference maker. Fans remember his rookie year, the way he energized the offense whenever he touched the ball. That's why seeing him on the bench is frustrating. It's not just about wanting to see big runs. It's the feeling that the team is holding back a weapon for no clear reason. What makes it even more puzzling is the obvious question it raises. Why wasn't he used? Was it a strategic choice? A sign that Harbaugh still doesn't fully trust his recovery? Or just part of some rotation plan? Whatever the explanation, what's clear is that without Mitchell, Baltimore missed out on adding another layer to its attack. And that sense of something missing only feels heavier when you remember the spark Mitchell gave them as a rookie. So let's rewind to 2023, when he suddenly burst onto the scene and completely changed the look of Baltimore's offense. Keaton Mitchell's rookie season was short, but unforgettable. On just 47 carries, he averaged 8.4 yards per attempt. Eye-popping numbers for any analyst. But more than the stats, it was how he ran. Explosive every time, finding space where there seemed to be none. It felt like he gave new life to every snap, injecting instant energy into the offense. What set him apart was that perfect mix of vision and speed. Mitchell saw openings that looked invisible to everyone else. And once he hit the gas, defenses had no time to react. That's the kind of player who makes fans believe he can become a true game changer in Baltimore's system. He didn't need a lot of touches to make his mark. Unfortunately, his breakout moment was cut short by a major injury. Just as it looked like he was ready to take on a bigger role, his season ended. It was a crushing blow, not just for him but for the team, which lost the extra spark he brought. Still, even in such limited action, Mitchell showed enough to prove he's the real deal, a player who can swing games when healthy. That rookie year memory is what keeps the excitement alive around Mitchell. It's why every decision to leave him off the field stings so much. Anyone who saw what he could do knows he's not just some rotational piece. He needs space to grow, because talent like that doesn't come around often. And that hope is exactly what made fans eager to see him return in 2024. But what happened next proved that Mitchell's road back was going to have more hurdles. Coming back from a major injury is never easy. In 2024, Keaton Mitchell returned, but he clearly wasn't the same explosive runner fans remembered. He didn't see the field until later in the season, played mostly on special teams, and logged just 15 carries. That's a small role for someone who had already flashed so much potential, and it left fans frustrated. Maybe the Ravens were protecting him, not wanting to push his recovery too quickly. Or maybe it was a sign he wasn't truly ready to handle a bigger load. Whatever the reason, the truth is his impact was limited. And that opened the door for questions about whether Mitchell could ever get back to being that electrifying player who lit up the field. The contrast was obvious. On one side, the Ravens' offense was effective but sometimes predictable. On the other, Mitchell had the exact skill set to break that predictability wide open, but he was barely used. That disconnect between need and potential stood out all year, especially in moments when Baltimore looked like it needed an extra spark but didn't have it. Even so, Mitchell made one thing clear. He wasn't giving up. He kept working, kept grinding, and kept showing flashes of what could still do. Every time he got a chance, it felt like he was saying, "I'm not done yet. I've got more to give." And that determination carried him into the next season, when he finally looked ready to prove himself all over again. That rebirth was obvious in the 2025 preseason, when Mitchell looked like the same player fans fell in love with as a rookie, full of energy, confidence, and game-changing speed.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.
It was only one preseason game, but sometimes that's all it takes to see a player is back. Keaton Mitchell stepped onto the field and immediately showed that the speed and confidence were there again. He rushed for 68 yards and a touchdown, with runs that instantly brought back memories of that rookie who set the league on fire in 2023. More than the numbers, it was how he ran. Loose, confident, shaking off defenders like they weren't even there. He looked lighter, sharper, and more comfortable than at any point since the injury. For a lot of people, that game was proof that Mitchell was ready to take on a real role in Baltimore's offense. And yet, despite that exciting preseason performance, the Ravens left him sidelined for the Week 1 opener against Buffalo. It was a shock, because it felt like the perfect moment to use that renewed energy. Instead, Mitchell was just a spectator, sparking another wave of questions about what the coaching staff really has planned for him. That choice only deepened the sense of wasted potential. While Mitchell watched from the sideline, Baltimore went up against one of the most physical teams in the AFC without tapping into their fastest weapon. And this isn't just about stats. It's about the mental impact. A player with Mitchell's skill set forces defenses to think differently, to hesitate, to prepare for something big at any moment. Which brings us to the heart of the issue. Baltimore has to recognize the value of keeping Mitchell in the game plan. Because when you look at the way this backfield is built, he's the missing piece that makes everything click. The Ravens' ground game has always been at its best when mixing different styles. Derrick Henry is the powerhouse, the bruiser who can carry it 25 times and wear defenses down. Justice Hill is the steady balance, reliable as a pass-catching option and in controlled situations. But what this trio really needs is exactly what Keaton Mitchell brings: pure explosion. Mitchell doesn't need 20 carries to change a game. His speed forces defenses to spread out, opens lanes for the passing attack, and even makes Lamar Jackson's job easier. He's the kind of player who, even with a handful of touches, keeps defenses on edge, constantly worried about him breaking a big one. That threat alone completely shifts the flow of a game, and the fit couldn't be more natural. While Henry pounds away and wears defenses down, Mitchell can be the dagger, the one who takes advantage of a tired defensive front and turns it into a home run. Then you've got Hill as the steady, dependable piece rounding out the trio. Together, they form a perfectly balanced backfield, each bringing something different. The real question now is whether John Harbaugh and his staff are willing to give Mitchell the role he deserves. Because this isn't about testing potential anymore. It's about using a player who can truly elevate the Ravens' offense. They already have one of the most respected attacks in the league. But with Mitchell in the mix, they could be even more unpredictable and explosive. And after everything he's already shown, as a rookie and again in this preseason, it's hard to justify leaving him out any longer. So the only question left is, how long will Baltimore wait before unleashing Keaton Mitchell and let him do what he does best, change games? Keaton Mitchell has already proven he's far more than just a depth option. He's the kind of player who forces defenses to adjust, the one who can take a good offense and make it nearly unstoppable. After everything he's been through, the rookie breakout, the tough injury, the slow return, and now the explosive preseason performance, it feels clear that it's time to give him a real role in the Ravens' offensive plan. And that leaves one simple question: How much longer can Baltimore afford to hold this weapon back? With Derrick Henry bringing power, Justice Hill bringing balance, and Mitchell adding pure speed, this backfield could be one of the most dangerous in the league. The decision now sits with John Harbaugh, and if he decides to unleash Mitchell, the Ravens might have just found a missing piece to make their offense even more unstoppable.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.